Morning, legends. We've got a voice today. Went to football last night. Watched Michelle's team get smashed. I don't really care. I'm indifferent. Got no time for sports ball. I just laughed at them when they lost. That was fun. But yeah, didn't do too much yelling or screaming because I don't really care who wins. But still, voice is not great. This is the red Strat, not the orange Strat. That's the newie. Well, new to me. It's the 2007 body, 2002 neck. It's been refretted by someone I showed in the little test stream that we ran the other day. What was that, Thursday? It's got some JJ's pickups in it. JJ's guitar pickups, not the valve manufacturer. And they sound really good. The bridge is really hot. It's like 11-12K. So yeah, overwound bridge. It's got a nice roll off to it as well. So let's catch up with the chat. See what you've been on about. G'day Mark. G'day Lou. Early birds. Neither of yous are members. Have to actually, I got some memberships to give away, don't I? It's been a long time since I've done a live stream, so haven't done all that housekeeping stuff, have I? Alright, let's do that. Meanwhile, Kimball Ormsby, I think you said you had designed a new output board for the PV Classic 50. If you decide to design other boards, I would definitely like to buy at least one complete set. No, it was the Classic 30. I do have one floating around here somewhere still, but I want to refine that. Design and do the stuff that I've learned, because that was one of the first boards I laid out. So it was a little bit of a practice exercise. I got the minimum order of 5 off from I think it was JLC PCB. I started off with PCB way, but I wasn't 100% happy with the just the finish of them. They just looked a bit cheap. JLC seemed to have a nicer finish to them, and JLC, when you order black, it's a matte black and it looks classier than the gloss black that you get from PCB way, and I don't think there's an option to change that. Anyway, long story short, I want to refine it. It does work. The current design does work, but I want to refine it and put isolation slots and maybe get the clearance a little bit larger in some spots and get rid of the ground plane because it's not required in most of the area. What am I doing? Muting tab. So whoever got here early can get a bloody membership for free, mate. Funding, membership gifting. Let's just bloody let's give all of them away now. Bugger it. So the early birds get it. I'll save 5 till later. And those who hang around till the end can get 5 as well. So who got one? Groove got one. Tom Glonet got one. Anthony Zach got one. Kimball got one. Oh, hang on. No, that was just a comment. Oh, it's all new names. Alright, sweet. Welcome, legends. Alright, so first thing I'll do, there's a couple of questions on the old Facebook. So I might run through them. This computer's still figuring out its associations. So what you were hearing just then was a Mesa Boogie Mark III that's just come in. It sounds pretty good. It's just come in for preventative service. You know, preemptive service, I should say. So we'll crack that open and have a look. But it's sounding okay, except for the loud-ass fan in the back. Desk share. So, Bill, if you're here with us, I told you that we're live streaming. The presence of non-safety rated AC line-to-ground death caps in 40-plus year-old guitar amps, where you know others have been there, mystifies me too. He was commenting on one of my videos. Folks either don't see them, I think they're hard to miss, or they think or they must think that they serve some important purpose. I remove them semi-routinely. I've even seen people actually put new ones back in. So either they're like it's fetishism over originality of you know, the amplifier circuit, or they just totally don't even know what they are and they just replace everything. Either way, it's stupid. And he goes on to say, also regarding flyback diodes on output tube plates, must be American. Do you install these as a matter of routine where they are not present? I certainly understand the benefit and practicality. Generally, it's not routinely. So if it's an amplifier with like separate sockets, it's pretty easy to just chuck them on the socket. But if it's like everything's circuit board mounted, you sort of got to piggyback them on the circuit board. The other factor is I'm probably more likely to put them in a head that I know they're going to be changing cabinets all the time and stuff. If it's an amp that just sits in someone's house, probably not the end of the world, like a hobbyist or just a hobby player. But if they're a gigging muso, you're much higher likelihood that you're going to lose your load. So touring bands that are plugging shit in and out on stage, people are stuffing around behind the back line on stage. There's a high likelihood that someone could either trip over a lead or pull one out inadvertently. And particularly on heads, so in a combo, often you've just got the combo speaker plugged in and no one really plays with the output jack. With a head, you've got to plug it, unplug it every time you pull it down. Studio guys too, like the amount of times I get amps in with flyback damage because they're playing with speaker cab combos and all of that, or dummy loads, attenuators, and they go to do a take or a reamp session and they just forget they haven't plugged something incorrectly and bang. So stuff like that, it's I advise them. I don't just do it, but I tell them that that's a good idea. I've had some people comment that the capacitance of the RF series diodes that I use actually affects the high frequency of the output stage, sort of like a slight cut control, you know, the cut control on a Vox. It's like a very, very mild version of that, but I think it's imperceptible. You know, we're talking 10 picofarads across the output transformer to ground, so from either side of the output transformer to ground. So I think it's if you do the math on that one, and you know it's too early for math now, but if you do the math on that one, I think it's very insignificant, so I wouldn't stress about that. Greg White asks, I'm jumping in with a question at 2 AM. Okay, you're probably not watching then, if you're an Australian. Do you also do stereo amplifier repairs? Yes, I do. Certain models. very limited models. Anything with a display on it, pretty much no, because they're computers essentially, and they're full of proprietary chips that are obsolete now, and they're not supported by the company because they're a consumer product and they've only got a life cycle of about 3 years. So there's no point sort of trying to keep them running forever. However, the dumb ones, the vintage ones, up to a certain point, yes, they're good. You got to look at the market value too. Like the Yamaha CA series, for example, is a good one to work on because they do hold on to their value. They're actually increasing in value partially because they look cool. The NAD stuff is, some stuff's good, some's not so great, but generally it's built to a higher standard. The NAD stuff, the Rotel stuff is worth looking at. Some of the older Sansui stuff, but you go back to a certain point like early 70s and you start getting things like quasi-complementary output stages and single supply output stages and stuff, just when they were still figuring out amplifiers and they weren't very good performance, sort of medium-fi, not exactly hi-fi. Stuff like that's not really worth working on, to be honest. So the golden age is sort of late 70s to late 80s, when all the hi-fi consumer stuff, it was like a race to the top as opposed to today's race to the bottom. Let's see how bad we can make it sound before anyone notices. Back then, the turntables and the hi-fi, they were actually pushing the envelope on, you know, how high quality and how well engineered their product can be and still be attainable for the expected market price. So there you go. Carrying on, I have a great old NAD 3020A that suffers from intermittent cutouts. Maybe it has something to do with the on button malfunctioning that should briefly cut the signal to stop the oomph you get through the speakers. So what he means there is there's a thump often with amplifiers where the power supply is still stabilizing and there's like a slight all the voltages are doing crazy shit right when you first turn it on. As the power supply comes up, you've got things like the maybe the low voltage preamp supply stuff is still coming up to voltage when the output stage has already come up to voltage. So there's a whole sort of undefined moment there when you turn it on. So that will manifest itself as a big thump through the speakers. It also happens at switch off as the power supplies die off and the cap's discharged. There's a moment there when all the conditions of the amplifier are anyone's guess. So to get around that, it's kind of unavoidable, but to get around that, some amplifiers, more modern ones, more I guess more integrated ones, in car stereos and stuff, they'll have like a chip with a built-in mute feature, which mutes the output during that period. But the old school amps and the higher powered stuff and PA stuff as well, a lot of bass amps too, it tends to be solid state stuff. They don't bother about it on valve stuff. I have seen it on some valve stuff, like I think some crates have it. But they have a timing circuit, so when you first turn it on, there's like an auxiliary power supply that's powered sometimes from a separate winding on the transformer, and it powers like a delay circuit and a relay driver with like a transistor. So you got a timer driving a transistor, well, attached to the base of a transistor. The transistor controls the coil of the relay. So the delay, you probably heard when you turn on your hi-fi. We'll just turn this one off. You hear a click. I'll turn it on. Oh, hang on, that didn't work because I just bumped something, so you can't hear it. But listen very carefully. I'll turn this thing off. All right, I'll hit the power button. Then you hear that click, and then another click. So that's the speaker relay turning on. So that was a delay of about, what, 5 seconds? And that gets rid of all that thump. And then as soon as you hit the button to turn it off, you hear all the clicks. So it clicks off the speakers as soon as you hit the power button. And that cuts off before the power supply goes through that undefined period. Anyway, long story short, sometimes that circuit plays up and the caps, as the caps are dying in the older amps, the timing goes off. Or it can cut out when it's not supposed to. So when it's actually timed and it's gone past its 5 seconds or whatever, it turns it on. But then the cap failing might trigger that transistor randomly throughout the operation of the amp, and the relay can switch on and off. There's also the thing with the relays, they are a mechanical device, and as the amp gets older, you might have issues with oxidization, I should say, on the contacts of the relay. And just tapping the relays often, you can get the signal to cut in and out, or you can get distortion through the speakers. So you could need a new relay. You mentioned it's been through several techs trying to fix the problem. Oh, that's nothing new, Greg. If you watch my channel, that's pretty much everything that comes through here has been through other, might I add, highly respected techs in Sydney, and I think they've just lost the passion, a lot of them. I can't blame them. It's a bit of a hectic industry to try and survive in, to be honest. But you know, if your heart's not in it, just find something else to do. A lot of these blokes have got real estate. They've got retirement funds that they don't need to be doing this financially. So anyway, they might have seen the relay and gone, oh shit, I don't know how to find that model. I need to navigate Mouser, DigiKey, all these other places and try and find something that'll work, something that'll fit. It takes a lot of effort, and frankly, you need to be a little bit tech savvy, and a lot of these older blokes aren't that work on the hi-fi stuff. So maybe they saw that and said, oh, fuck that, too hard. Or maybe they took the thing apart, cleaned the contacts. But what happens is they have plating on the contacts, and once you clean the contacts, if you have something slightly abrasive, like a little bit of wet and dry or something, you've just cut through the plating on that contact, if it wasn't worn through already just from wear, and now you've exposed the base metal, and the base metal corrodes. It'll be okay for a moment, but it's like sanding a bit of steel, mild steel. It looks nice and shiny the day you do it, and then it goes dull, and then it goes rusty. So you really need to replace the relay. In my opinion, I would probably go with something with either mercury wetted contacts, but that tends to be sort of signal line stuff rather than power relays that you need for speaker relays, or something with like indium contacts or whatever it is, something that won't corrode. But even just the same quality relay that was in there since it was built will probably last you 20 years, but I just tend to overshoot with stuff like that. Anyway, there you go. How's that? It's almost like a professional channel when I do the little answering thing, eh? Dun, 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 dun. So what was I doing? Catching up on chat. Oh, Dad's given everyone a warning that I might be late because I was at footy. Hal's hungover. Oh, well, mate. Go get yourself a smoothie. Been listening to the joyful sounds of Mokhtar. What? And assembled a 2x12 cab that sounds pretty good to me. Nice one. Well, you made one from scratch. Time to brew more coffee. Yes. Might even be time for a cold snack. Oh, Dustin, it's over in the States. It's about that time, isn't it? What is it over there? It is 4:30. Thought it was later than that. Half an hour till knockoff. G'day Scruffy, g'day Pete Ross, g'day Paul Crane, g'day Richard, Donatello, shredding at 7. Yeah, heck of a way to wake up the neighbourhood. Well, you know, it's an industrial area, so I can do whatever I want. Morning Mum, morning Dad too, by the way. We've got our gifted memberships. Wanji, how you going, champ? That's a name I'm seeing more often. It's good stuff. Another regular. Sean Weatherford, I haven't seen you around for a while, mate. How you doing? Lyle's here. How you going, legend? Gooden's here. Bloody legend. Can I be a member or am I just a mumbler? You can be both, Gooden. I thought you were a member at one point, but you mustn't have renewed it. I don't know about doing the auto renew on the memberships. I think that's a little bit presumptuous. A lot of other channels do it, and it seems to be the par for the course though. So I think I just need to get my head around this whole internet economy thing, because I don't know, some of the things just feel a bit scummy. Well, that's annoying, but it's just the norm these days, because everyone has to make a living doing shit like influencing. It just doesn't feel like real work to me. I don't know. Anyway, Chris Swain, hey Brad, I enjoyed the mesa vids recently. I didn't know the dumb shit started at the very beginning. Oh yes it did, Chris. Someone actually commented, which was interesting. The reason that they called themselves Mesa Engineering was actually And I sort of empathise with them a bit on this one, but it was so the supplier companies would take them seriously, because if they just found out there was some dude in a shed making amps, they don't take your orders or your quote requests seriously. But if you have got an official sounding name like Mesa Engineering, they take your orders a bit more seriously. So it's got a little bit more respect in that. Respect? I don't know. Unless Victor is here. Hola! Preemptive aloha, yeah. I haven't seen Victor yet, but he might not rock in later on. It's only 4:30 over there. Oh, well, what is it in Hawaii? It'd be a bit later, wouldn't it? If postage to Oz wasn't so nuts, I'd send Brad some vintage new old stock parts and useful tools. I'd like to do the same for you, but I didn't get a return email. I'm finding it really hard to respond to emails now too. I see them come in, I'm like, oh, I'll have to answer that later. And then you work till like 7 p.m. and then you go home and you make dinner and you do the washing or wash up or whatever, and then it's 9 o'clock, and then you edit a video, and then it's midnight. You go to bed, and then you get up, and 7 o'clock, I'm back here and back into it, like figuring out what I'm got to order, and then answering, paying bills, and then I got to open the shop and grab something to eat because I'm bloody starving, and then before you know it, it's 3 or 4 in the arvo, and you got everyone rushing to pick up their stuff on the way back, and then dropping off new stuff, and then want to talk about their guitar and tell you, like what needs to be done to the guitar, what its history is, and all this, and then before you know it, it's 7 o'clock again, and I'm heading home, and then you've got to edit a video, put a video up, and then before you know it's 10 o'clock again, so you go to bed. There's just no, like, I can't find time to do just answering email shit. It's getting worse and worse every year. I don't know if it's just my psyche, but I just feel like there used to be more spare time in the day. I don't know. If I could transplant my brain back into 25-year-old Brad, I'd probably feel the same, but it just feels like there's less time in the day. I don't know. It's weird. Hi everyone. So did anyone discuss Randall Smith getting fired? I don't think he got fired. I think he just he was planning on handing the business over anyway because he was retiring. I mean, the bloke's 80-something years old. Like, I know he's just tenacious, stubborn old bastard, but I think it was the plan all along. I think they just, I don't know why they said he fired. They probably just wanted a bit of controversy, but I don't know. He was planning to exit anyway, and it sounds like it was about on schedule when he said he was going to hand over. I don't know the full story. There's a lot of clout shark fucking channels trying to make something of it, but I don't know. He was planning to retire the whole time. Yeah, I don't have too much interest in new old stock stuff anyway. Like Lyle said, good. Some stuff like valves and stuff is cool because they sort of don't have a shelf life, but some stuff's cool. I wanted to start like a glass unit, just a narrow, like, I don't know, 1 foot square column display case with lighting in it of just cool vintage shit, electronic components, curiosities, test gear, and then like a little tag showing, what each thing is, what year it was made. But I don't know, I'm probably the only one interested in that. I just thought it would be cool to have a little museum cabinet here of just old curiosities and just monster valves and shit, like this fucking thing up here, the cookie jar. Yeah, RCA 833A. Just cool stuff like that, I'll click over to the overhead camera. Check it out. So that's a triode. The heaters themselves are 10 volt, 10 amp. So you need a 100 watt transformer just for the fucking heater and one valve. The plate voltage I think it's like 6 kilovolt max. You can run them at like 3 kilovolt. Or you probably run them at like 1,000, like 1 kilovolt. But if you're going to just make a novelty amp out of it, you can make a single-ended thing that would put out, I don't know, probably 100 watts. I think there's a company that actually made a head using one of these. But I don't know. It's probably used, but the getter's still intact. You can see down there, it's silver. Yeah, I can't even remember how I ended up with this. I think I just saw it and bought it because it looked cool. I was just going to set it up so that, because when you're operating this thing, the whole plate glows red, like it's meant to red plate during normal operation. Well, look at the size of the plate. You know, it's a monster. And this is a RCA 833A. They also do a 833C, which has got a graphite plate, which is actually like cast, like molded. And that's got a higher power rating, I think, because the plate itself can withstand a higher temperature and dissipate more energy. But yeah, you can see the heater running back and forth. The little springs there tension the filament runs. It's like a clothesline style heater down the center, and you can see down in, I don't know if you can make it out, but you can see the grid. It's just a triode. You can see the grid's like oval shaped, goes around the two posts. So yeah, a bit of a beast. So this is a directly heated triode. So you've got your that's your heater connections there, and that's also the cathode. And then you've got your plate there and your control grid there. Yeah, cool bit of kit. You see them mounted when they're in a transmitter. They've got this crazy valve socket which is like a skeleton and allows airflow to go straight up under the valve, and they put a fan under the valve socket itself, so each valve has its own fan. I'm a fan of it. Yeah, I've been looking for a brother for it so I can make a push-pull thing, because having a single-ended transformer with 3 kV isolation and capable of dealing with that kind of idle current, it's going to be hard to find. I think it would have to be a custom wound jobby. I've repaired a lot of older, this is good, I've repaired a lot of older NAD, nearly always defective hi-fi gear. The early stuff sounds good, but was shoddily built with low quality capacitors, lousy soldering, and conductive glue. Well, good. Pretty much everything's built like that now, so, you know, I'd be in my element, wouldn't I? Scrolling back up because it jumped on me. G'day, Scotty. How you going, legend? How about rare knob styles? Oh, yeah. New old stock stuff for hardware and stuff. It's handy. Pilot light, sockets, jewels, hard to find connectors, and unusual tube shield and socket styles and such. You know, if he was working on odd shit, fair enough. But I already have thousands of things I might need someday in boxes in the attic. Oh, I didn't know you were that kind of person, Lyle. I thought you were a bit like me, where if something's not bolted down, it gets thrown out. Finally, after months, I made it to another BGG live. How you going, Joe B? I'm constitutionally not a hoarder. Okay, good. That's what I thought. Well, it sounds like Scotty and Gooden might hook up and do a bit of horse trading there. Haven't watched the Mesa 2C Plus vid yet. That will be a good one. A good one. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a great amp when it was done. I really liked it, actually, to be honest. And the Mark 1, the Mark 2, well, the Mark 2C and C Plus, probably C Plus because the effects loop location is more suitable to you know, for modern usage. But even the Mark 3s, they're not bad amps. I don't mind them. They've just gone crazy with the feature creep, man. Like, you look at the new Mark series, fuck me, what is it? 3-channel, everything customizable. Like, if you're gonna go with an amp that amorphous, like where everything on every single channel is assignable to, just go modeling, man. You know, like if you need to like almost have like every friggin' feature programmable, like the Road Kings and shit. Like, I think you need a modeler. I don't think you want a valve amp. You know, it's just too much to go wrong. There's too much bells and whistles, too many gewgaws. And the amp's got no personality because it's a chameleon. So yeah, I don't know. If you need everything in one box, just go modeling, honestly. What? No ads on this channel? No ads on this channel. I don't put mid-roll ads in, Daniel. I find them really annoying, and I've got a real job, and you know, we make a meager income here, but make a little bit on the memberships and the ads and stuff, but it's just enough to justify me doing it to the missus. But you know, I could slam ads, I could put in sponsorship. You know, I've been approached by several companies to put sponsorship things in, and it's only going to increase I'm just a tiny fish at the moment, you know. I always have been, probably always will be, to be honest, because I don't do those things, and I don't spend every waking hour of my life editing shorts and videos and making thumbnails and, you know, coming up with concepts. This is just sort of hang out and chat like we're at the pub. Nice down to earth channel, which is the ones I watch, really. I watch the down to earth people, not the showy fucking clickbaity fucktards, because who's got time for that? There's enough of that shit out there how it is. It's very hard to find a genuine channel these days. Everyone talks out both sides of their mouth, and everything's got an ulterior motive and this cash under the table happening for them to say positive things about products. Here you just get the meat and potatoes, you get the true story, and that's why you're a bunch of legends, because those channels seem to attract massive fuckwits in their audience, whereas everyone here's pretty well a legend that I'd probably have a beer with and not punch in the face for any reason whatsoever. So that's good. Greg White. Is Greg White here? Or are you just commenting? Some of the earliest NAD amps didn't have an output relay, so a pop it turn on is to be expected, although DC offsetter imbalance in the power supply can exacerbate pops. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, yeah. So the other reason for pops, including in preamp circuitry, is switching between two levels of DC offset. That's something that Mesa Boogie could learn from some of their later Mark Series amps, when you get pops and clicks and all sorts of shit from all their switching of every single parameter of every circuit. Things like 10 meg resistors just to tie tie floating ends of caps and stuff, but not have them influence the circuit when they're switched out. But just a 10 meg resistor will keep them at the same voltage. That's common with pedals too. A quick fix for a lot of pedals that pop when you click the bypass switch, particularly the true bypass ones, is when you click the contacts over to the bypass mode, those contacts at that moment have they're not tied to anything, so they don't have any defined voltage on them. They could be anything defined by static, defined by fucking solar flares. So you get a pop when you click over to it. But if you just put a 10 meg resistor to it, or 5 meg, whatever works, but won't affect the signal, it often gets rid of the pop, and that's something a lot of pedal manufacturers could do to learn. But yeah, if there's a massive thump when you turn your speaker on, particularly if it happens, usually so you got to look at the amp topology, right? So in a solid state amp that has a speaker relay, not only do they generally I should say, champions, not only do they generally use the relay for the timing at the switch on and switch off like we talked about earlier, but they often monitor various positions of the circuit, or they should anyway. If they don't, that's on them. But a lot of really cheap or just dumb design bass amps, in particular bass guitar amps, don't do that shit. So I think the Ashdowns and stuff don't do it. Very rudimentary designs, and they like to go bang as a result. But generally, you've got your speaker relay. It will have a transistor that drives it, but that transistor will be driven by like 6 different lines and comparators and stuff. It'll sense even your AC being present on the input. It'll sense DC offset. It'll even monitor the power rails for the preamp as well as the power amp, and if anything goes funky, it'll even measure the temperature of the output devices, maybe on the heatsink. And if anything, any of those factors, they all feed in like a mix bus into the control, the transistor for the relay. Sometimes it can be microprocessor control too. In the case of some of the more complex amps, it's just all these signal lines go into the analog inputs of the what am I trying to say? Microcontroller, and if everything's good, it turns on the relay. If any of those factors goes out of range, it turns off the relay, so you can't damage your speakers or damage the amp any further than it already is. So what bothers me about it is people wanting sub money. Meanwhile, 20,000 in gear in their studio. Yeah, fuckheads. You've got all this cool shit, and you're asking for money. Well, sell your gear, you fucking... Yeah, which is more than I have, so I don't feel like giving them money when they clearly don't need it. Yeah, well, don't give them money, Scotty. But what they're doing is they're trying to make a living off just YouTube, whereas, you know, maybe they should get a real job. G'day, all watching while I finish up my work day. Just removed a leaky death cap. There you go. And fixed some shoddy mains wiring on an old Baldwin solid state combo. Fun. Good stuff, Nick. It is satisfying to work on stuff. I really enjoy working on little projects. But when I work on them down here, it feels like work. So I think I might put a small electronics workstation back in my garage so I can work on just the meat and potato stuff like wiring up stuff. Even those Marshall replacement boards, I can knock them up at home. It doesn't feel like work when I'm in the garage, but when I'm here, it just feels like another job. Buenos dias, Emilio Nava. 12:30 in Hawaii. Hey? 12:30 in Hawaii. Really? How does that work? Hawaii time. Is it that far out? No, it's not that far out. Hawaii time. It is too. 11:44 a.m. What am I thinking then? I thought it would be later in Hawaii. Where the fuck's Hawaii? Hang on. I need to do basic geography now. There it is. Why the fuck did I think Hawaii was off the East Coast? Okay. I thought it was way closer than that to the States. Never mind. I'm a fucking idiot. Moving on. Hey, well, you guys don't know shit about my country, so, you know, fair enough. What am I thinking of then? I'm thinking of, like, Cuba or something. Idiot. Any thoughts on LED tremolo roaches? What's the difference between that and a Vactrol? Nothing, really. The Vactrol is exactly that. So when you got a Vactrol, so tremolo roaches are generally a neon bulb, because they're driven by the high voltage. There's no reason, I guess, you couldn't adapt one to use an LED, but you'd have to have an internal resistor, and that'd probably affect the oscillation of the triode. So I don't think it's easy, otherwise other people would have already made one, because neon and LDRs are a bit of a pain in the ass. The industry controversy videos are such low-hanging fruit. Yeah, I don't need clicks enough to go full whore. Yeah. That shit doesn't blow my skirt up either. I couldn't give a fuck, to be honest. We all know the industry's corrupt and shit. What do we really need to dwell on it? Gibson is a corporation with an agenda. Well, I mean, you know, everyone's got to make a profit, don't they? Looks like a railroad electrical insulator. It does a bit, doesn't it? Actually, I've been meaning to get some of them. The big fucking ceramic insulators, because one of my mates is a linesman. And not from Wichita. He's just a lineman in Melbourne. And yeah, I'd love to get one of those, because they replace them periodically, because they don't get pitted. I think they clean them, but they also upgrade them, so they come out with newer models and they replace them periodically. They're really cool, and just hang them up in my garage or something, have them in the background. I don't know. It's a bit annoying, the layout of the shop. I can't have a cool wall full of cool shit behind me because it's just open. Maybe I'll just hang it from the ceiling. What happens with display cabinets? They grow and multiply, and soon you end up with Brad's Guitar Museum. Yeah. Not even guitars. Like, I'm not really interested in collecting guitars, to be honest. I like collecting test gear and weird ka-chunk switches and stuff. Don't know. I do come from a long line of hoarders. My uncles used to give us lots of stuff every time we visited. We'd go home with a canoe, bench grinder, soldering irons, boat motor, tools, hand tools, machetes. Sounds like a cool uncle. Just jumped again in the chat. Bro, that transmitter, build that transmitter tube into an amp. It'll keep the audio fills happy. No, that's not expensive enough a valve, Hal. You need a 300B that's gold plated that you pay $5,000 for. The audiophilia thing, and I will call them audiophilia, it's just a mental illness. They convince themselves they're hearing shit they're not, so they can have a superiority over everyone else. Oh, you can't hear the difference, but my golden ears can. Well, no, you're just fucking mentally ill, mate. You got no mates. Go be a normal person. Go and fucking touch grass, would you weirdo? They're like the younger generation that's like addicted to Reddit and shit. They're just they need to just go out and get some fresh air. The only reason you have $200,000 worth of hi-fi is because you got no mates, and you can't change my mind on that one. I don't care if I piss them off because they're dickheads anyway. I hoard certain things: knobs, pots, chips, transistors, switches, and other stuff that doesn't have a shelf life. Yeah, some chips have a shelf life though, Scotty, and transistors too. Some of the really old transistors, you can't even use the new old stock stuff because they're just breaking down on a molecular level. A lot of the TO3 stuff is like that. That's why I tend not to work on any of it, because you're limited to new old stock chips, and then the old chips are new old stock transistors, and the old transistors are on their way out to just even surface corrosion. They're that old and they haven't been stored ideally. The photonic induction channel. I really miss Andy. I wish he was still making content. I've been hearing through Clive that he's okay. I did ask Clive that, Big Clive, I mean, and Big Clive said, yeah, he's alright. He's in touch with him. He sends him a message every now and then. They keep in touch. So as long as he's happy, that's all that matters, right? After seeing Aussie 50 commit suicide, and he was mates with photonic induction, you got to be careful. A lot of these technical blokes bottle stuff up, and they don't, deal with stuff. So he released some videos that were a little bit concerning, but then he sorted stuff out, and now he's happy. So that's good. I hope he starts making videos again, because they're hilarious, and he was one of the fucking reasons I got into making videos too. Photonic induction, I mean. But primarily, I hope he's enjoying life, and I hope he's living a good life, and I hope he's bloody healthy. When I started watching him, he was like a smoking alcoholic, and then next time I saw him, like years later, the last couple of videos, he's got a big gut on him, and it's like, shit, man, take care of yourself. I know it's hard to eat good food in the old dart, but yeah, he had mercury-loaded rectifiers, thyrotrons, RF transmitter triodes. He did all sorts of crazy shit. He was making X-rays with just random valves and just set shit on fire. Great channel to watch. Sometimes I'll just go back and watch it just for nostalgia. YouTube's been around that long that you actually go back and watch old videos and it feels nostalgic. Morning, Brad. Live stream helping me keep me sane while I rebuild the power supply of my early 70s gun 50 head. Well, that shouldn't be too hard, Lucas. Early 70s gun 50. Is gun Australian? With two N's? Fill me in. Matt Johnson, how you going, legend? Good morning, Brad. Well, evening here. Real interesting vid on the Boogie Mark II C. I owned one briefly years ago. I'd hate to tell you what they're worth now, mate. I've seen them go for $8,000 plus. My first and only messer for good reasons. If you're going to get any of them, the Mark II C Plus is probably a good one. Probably prefer to get one with the EQ, because it's kind of required, because the things are so obnoxious around 800 hertz. But what I did on the part 2 video gets you around that if you don't have one. So stay posted. I might do a short on that, actually. I've got to start doing some shorts. Now it's summer, you got to get the shorts out. Just pulling your chain on the ads, mate. Just keep it that way, please. I plan to. No mid-roll ads. You know, there's going to be ads because you can't avoid it. YouTube just slams them at you. But it's pissing me off even these days. I'm seeing on Facebook, Facebook's just becoming a fucking pile of shit. They just don't bother maintaining it anymore. It just makes money no matter what. It's just this automatic money-making machine that they don't care about the user experience anymore. So, I think it's becoming like Twitter, where half of it's just fucking bots and scams, you know. But like you'll see a friend post an update or like a photo or something, and then it puts an ad in the fucking photo from your friend. Like, oh, they're looking at that. They're not looking at the ads over here. So let's put an ad right here in their fucking photo, right under their kid's face. Like, it's just insidious, and it's not going to stop. Like, even the operating systems are putting fucking ads in. You can't open your start menu without like an ad for fucking TeamU or some shit. Fucking Microsoft, like you just don't have enough money. Big Clive pretty much built his channel on weird electrical and electronic stuff from Little. Yeah, that is their equivalent of Aldi, sort of. Cheap eBay stuff. I do have solar lights from Aldi. I love Big Clive. He got us through lockdown, man. I started watching his live streams when he started doing them in lockdown, and I think he started doing them a little bit before. I don't think it was solely a lockdown thing, the whole reason he started them. But yeah, there was one particular episode. I think if Scruffy, if he's still here, he was watching that one. It was called the Irish Sea Stream, and they got so fucking blind drunk, and they doxed one of their mates, and everyone started ringing in because he told them their phone number because he was that pissed he didn't care. And then everyone all over the world, including me, rang them up while they were live streaming from Isle of Man. I love Big Clive. He's a legend. Hope to meet him one day when we go over there. That'd be cool. Not on a weird parasocial thing, but just have a beer and fucking, yeah. Didn't realise you had Aldi in the States. I think Aldi's bloody everywhere, isn't it? It's like IKEA. My soldering stuff has been put aside for the moment. Need to clean the absolute shit fight mess in my garage to get to my brewing gear. Yeah, to make refreshments for my soldering nights. Priorities. Yes, true, Pete. It's beer drinking season almost. Well, it's beer drinking season all year round, isn't it? But yeah, you're out west. Out west? Yeah. What kind of setup have you got, Pete? Just the like 40, what is it, 42 litre fermenter? Usual stuff, or you got something a bit more detailed? One of my mates has a grain father. Yeah, but I think he's a bit off it now because it does require a lot of work, the cleaning and everything to make beer. Good beer anyway. Brad and Lyle, where do you buy various parts? Well, yeah, like Lyle said, generic stuff. Mouse, DigiKey, Element 14. Hopefully not RS components because they're fucking useless these days too. What's the other one I'm missing? Element 14, Mouser, DigiKey. I feel like there's a fourth one that I'm forgetting. Where's components here if you have to. CE distribution if I absolutely have to, like amp specific stuff. Tube Amp Doctor. Haven't used Tube Depot yet. I think the shipping was insane. Evatco if I need stuff quickly, and some of their pricing is fucking cheaper than ordering bulk from overseas, so I don't know if that's just they haven't updated it, but Evatco here in Queensland is great. Not here, but you know, in Australia. Uh-oh, Lyle feels attacked. What was I talking about again? I forget. Oh yeah, it's Friday the 13th over there. No, I mean people that have a job or own a company and do this as a hobby and ask for money. Scotty, these days everyone's asking for money. Everyone's got their hand out. So you just got to ignore them and tell them to fuck off. I mean, like, I got memberships. That's like you buy me a coffee, which is fair enough, I think. I was even like internally torn about even starting memberships. It felt scummy. I don't know, but I thought, well, it's your choice. You can do it or not do it. I am going to start putting up more members-only content, and as I said in one of my posts, I think I'll do the unedited, well, still edited, but long format videos. Like the Mark II-C video I just put up was like 46 minutes or something. You know, no one's watching the whole version of that except the diehards, so I may as well put the full-on version in members only, and then edit the other ones down. But it's really hard to cut it down to the bone when there's so much to go over, you know. Hawaii is east of us, Brad, but behind the international date line, so a day behind. To the east of us? Where are you, Joe? Yeah, it's to the east of Australia. I'm talking about the States. I'm way behind on chat. That's good. Lively chat. Good morning, future man. How you going, Wes? Hope the advertising. I hope the animation industry is treating you well. I hear there's a lot of movements there with unionization and stuff, which is good to hear. Brad, one of your native Aussie snakes, an inland taipan, made the news here in my native South Carolina. Someone had one as a pet and thought it would be fine to free handle it. It did not end well. Yeah, well, there's a lot of, just hearing in the news today, there's been a massive spike in illegal native animal trafficking. Like, they're wondering who's behind it. Like, it must be organised crime because it's just gone up through the roof. The ones that they do detect, which is probably like 20% or less of what's actually happening, there's been a massive uptick in it. So they're trying to figure out if it's organised crime, someone's got some new scam that they're doing. Because yeah, there's a lot of that going on. I've done LED tremolos, hint for using in an existing amp. Drive it off the cathode, not the plate. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? I think Merlin even went into that. Matt, why do people feel the need to keep snakes in the US? I've got a mate who's got them to milk and send off to the labs. Is this bloke okay? Yeah. I mean, I think they've got anti-venom to everything, don't they? So, as long as you're not hours away from a hospital, you're probably going to be okay. Like, I think we've had like two snake-related deaths here in the last 10 years or something, I think. It's pretty rare with the anti-venom and everything. It's mainly when you're in the middle of nowhere and it happens and it's going to take you hours to get somewhere. So, yeah, being in the middle of nowhere is a bit sketch for everything, like, you know, mechanics. I don't allow ads on my channel either. Pop ads are out of control on other channels I'm subscribed to. Don't want to pay for premium. The few things I've reviewed I paid for myself out of my own pocket. Yeah, same here. I pay for premium because I don't watch TV. All I watch is YouTube. And like, what is it? It's like $17 a month, you know. I've got, that's a drop in the ocean compared to my fucking overheads. I've got 2 internet bills. We've got phones coming out our ass. You know, you got $2,000 rent here a month. You got, you know, probably about the same at home. So yeah, what's $17 a month, eh? Or whatever it is. Some people keep them as exotic pets. He only alerted authorities 12 hours after the bite. They got anti-venom to him. He's alive but is facing a long recovery with probably kidney damage. Why would you... 12 hours? Was he pissed? Was he drunk? Man, that's not what you do. It sounds like he had it coming to him. Watch Product Farm for product reviews. He pays for everything out of pocket. Devises custom jigs to torture the tools. Take scientific measurements and sometimes things blow up or catch fire. Yeah, that sounds like AVE. And I think AVE has mentioned that channel before. Yeah, that's how you do it. No, not beholden to anyone. I'm just so sick of the Shure reviews. I think people are starting to become aware of it. The paid promotion thing is only if you actually do a promotion slot, whereas there's lots of payment happening that's not actually disclosed. So yeah, I don't trust those fuckers as far as I can throw them. I have a load of tropical fish caps that are falling to bits. Yeah, if you bend the leg even slightly, they crumble to bits. I had a Ampeg VT40 that just got declined. I actually had a quote that got declined for once. All the tropical fish caps were just peeling. They were like delaminating like an onion. So all of them had to come out. All the caps were, not a form factor that was easily replaceable. So I quoted to like make an adapter board so it could take modern caps and then reroute all the high voltage lines and do the dropper resistors on the board as well. And it was going to be like $1,600 or something, plus the valves were shot. It had wrong valves all over the place. It had 12 DW7s in the circuit everywhere, but they just jammed 12 AX7s in there and stuff. It was a fucking nightmare. But yeah, he was very apologetic. He's like, I want to get it done one day, but yeah, I was like, oh, just hang on to it. And if you did want to get it underway, we could look at maybe a payment plan or something like that, and we could spread it over a 12-month period or whatever. I try to work with them if they got limited funds, but by the same token, I wasn't real desperate to take that one on because I could see the amount of hours in it. But they are fun, those big jobs. A Taipan will bring out the Darwin Award in people. Fellas lose their sense of smell, taste, etc. from a nip. Yeah, you lose all sorts of stuff, eh? Because, yeah, the first thing to go is your fine sort of nervous system. He posted videos of him free-handling Taipans. Yeah. So it was probably trying to get fucking YouTube hits, just like everything, or TikTok. Everyone wants their bloody fame, don't they? Like those mukbang fuckwits that eat so much they fucking die. Darwin Award. Working my way through the 1955 Basic Electronics volumes by Valkenberg. Sweet visuals. Do you have any modern recommendations for tube amps, general electronics? Yes, I do, and one's sitting right here because I was planning on doing a book review. So bear with me. I'll just try and catch up in the chat a little. Man, I keep telling people to use Facebook Purity plugin, and they never do. But does that monitor your shit, though? Like, is it worse than the fucking problem? I sold off a boatload of tropical fish caps online at Hamfest years ago. There's an interesting website called Tropical Fish Vintage. There isn't about fish, it's about repairing amps and keyboards. I bought Windows Pro and removed all that shit. Yeah, well, it doesn't seem to be on this one because I've got Windows Pro. So is that the thing, Scotty? If you get Windows not Pro, you get fucking advertising built into the operating system that you can't get taken out. Do you have to just bit my tongue. Do you have to upgrade to Pro just to get rid of that shit, do you? The rage bait home improvement stuff is going to get someone killed. Yeah, they post shit that is obviously fucking wrong and stupid. And then it gets shared. Like, I'll go to great efforts to make everything as correct and I still fuck things up. These people intentionally put up dangerous and dumb shit. Like, here, attach, a circular saw blade to your grinder and now you can drop a cut in on a fucking... No, don't do that. But then these videos explode and they got 3 million views and fucking 500,000 likes. It's like, oh, fuck me. Like, who is clicking? It's got to be bots. It can't be... Like, are people that stupid these days? I'd like to give humankind the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes it's hard. Yeah, I can only imagine what they go for today. I used the funds from selling it to get my first Friedman. Well, Gotta say, that's quite an upgrade, Matty. No EQ on the one I had, just couldn't mesh with it. Wild tapers on the pots. Yeah, a lot of the wild tapers on the pots is often because they don't have a proper voltage divider for their volume controls and stuff. It's just like a rheostat to ground because they didn't understand fucking design. So you can often fix that, Matty, with just rewiring them to be a proper voltage divider, particularly on the master volume. It's not the actual pot's fault, it's the dickhead wiring it up. Merlin Blencow, the Valve Wizard, Morgan Jones, the Art of Electronics, the old Jack Dar books are good too. I haven't had any Jack Dar books, I should check him out. If he doesn't get a Darwin Award, I would hate to see what the other person did to deserve it instead, yeah. I'd sit through ads to watch Brad and Clive shoot the shit. Oh, if we did, we wouldn't have ads because we both hate ads, so I don't think that'd be a problem, Lou. Richard Kuhnel, yeah, he's cool. And Rob Robinette too. Richard, I don't know how to pronounce his name. All grain, simple setup though, just converted esky. Oh, really, Pete? What, you actually ferment in the actual esky? Wouldn't the plastic off-gas a bit? Like, you know, that esky smell when you open a esky on a hot day in the car? Like an empty esky and it's got that plastic smell? Gun was from Auckland, New Zealand. They mostly built EL34 based guitar and bass amps, insane plate voltages and reputation for unreliability because people tried putting 6L6s in. Yeah, I think from memory, Lucas, they are on ozvalveamps.org and they're like Class B things, a bit like the insane amps that were here around the same era. They all, yeah, like 700-800 volts on the plates and they're all running Class B or close to it. A few weeks ago I got a double neck with dodgy electronics, so I enjoyed replacing all of it myself, converted it from 3 to 2 switches, which meant I needed a DP-DT switch that I got from Mouser. There you go. Yeah, well you can go the, so I've got here the switches for them, Switchcraft things that are worth $1 million. Fucking Switchcraft is getting expensive, man. Pick up, select the switches. I actually ordered this one by accident. I wonder if I'm ever going to get another double neck in that requires a new switch. Probably not. Yeah, this bad boy. From all parts. Big monster switch. So yeah, that's a dual pole, dual throw. The actual offset. So that'll fit in like the SG double necks because they're shallow. Yeah, that switch was like, I don't know, fucking $80 or something. I can't remember. It was up there in price, so I remember that much. Yeah, I think I ordered that by accident when I just wanted a normal one, just a standard 3-way. Who doesn't like a 3-way? Oh, this is just becoming a chat stream, which is kind of cool. Relaxing. A few weeks ago... Oh, no, I just read that. Hope the oyster stout was drinkable. Yes, it was very drinkable, Pete. I actually took that away. Thank you very much for that, by the way. I took that away to my mate's 40th, and we enjoyed that down at Jarvis Bay, or Huskerson, where we were staying. We got very drunk, and I think... one of my mates was trying to convince me that Elon Musk was a good person, and it almost came to blows, and then we went to bed. Woke up the next morning, went straight to a brewery tour. Everyone was very green around the gills. And then we got on the piss again. It was a great time. We drank a lot of beer, well, and whiskey. We had like 6 bottles of whiskey. Not many came back. Got to run Legend. See you, Lyle. Oh, you'd already be gone by now. TME is in the same boat as Mouser and DigiKeep in the European Union. I think TME used to be here too. Did they make CB radios, or am I thinking of TM Electrophone or something? I think I used to have a big Citizen Band 27 megahertz CB back in the day. Of course it's Citizen Band, it's a CB. I do my fair share of homebrewing as well. Pretty DIY setup, but still make great beer if you're careful about cleaning. Yeah, that's key. Been working on a rye pilsner recipe for a few years, and it's getting damn good. Nice one. I like when people think outside the box and make some interesting stuff instead of just IPA. I do enjoy an IPA, but the chat jumped again. Scotty, look what I'm wearing. Screaming fucking Jets. That's what I'm wearing. How you going, Scotty? Good to hear from you, mate. I've got to send you that cab soon. Sorry. It's getting back into productive season, Scotty, where I get home after being here and I actually want to do shit because we don't have like 1 hour of daylight after I leave. Or not even. So, when we've got daylight till like 8 p.m, I'm super productive. I'm out in the garage building shit, cutting shit, annoying the neighbours with my power tools. It's great. Brad, you and Lyle provide a valuable service that is worth giving a bit of scratch for. Different entirely. Thanks, Scotty. I'd like to think that. We offer a few little gems here. Hopefully, everyone gets stuff out of it. I'm trying to be a little bit more focused and a little bit more goal-oriented with my videos in the future. It's an ongoing battle. I am a bit of a scattered dude, so I enjoyed the whole Mesa video. Keep them coming. Oh, thanks, K-Metal83. Thanks for watching. The next one's cool. I've got some sound samples. I think I recorded it. It sounded a little bit dark on playback, but then the customer turned up and took the amp, so might have to do a little bit of EQ just to make it sound like it sounded in the room. Indeed, I had to break off the Mesa repair video to land here. It's alright, just take off where you left. Cleaning is the main thing. Nothing worse than spending hours brewing and weeks fermenting a shit beer. Imagine what the whiskey distillers have to deal with, Pete. Like, lay down some whiskey and it's been there for like 5 years and you're tasting it and it's just progressively getting worse. That'd be heartbreaking. I mean, like, you think about some of these whiskeys and, like, I know it's an ongoing, constant rolling process, but if you think about it from start to finish, some of these blokes, and they might only put down, like, you know, well, you think about it, like 17 year, say you got a 17-year whiskey, that's like 2 of them in your whole career. Like, if you know, it's serious dedication, I think, the whiskey game. And it's very reliant on documentation and passing down the secret info, you know. That's why some of these companies that, like, they try and rebirth an old distillery, it's like, well, have you got the original guys? Like, is there anyone still alive? Like, is it going to have any character of the original one? Like, there's so much there that they wouldn't have even written down. That's just like, that's just how you do it, young laddie. It's really cool. I cancelled 2 streaming services and spent that money on Patreon YouTube memberships instead. Better use of my money? I think so too, Rob. It's like, instead of going to see fucking Metallica and paying $3,000 a ticket or whatever, fucking use that $3,000 and go see your local bands. Buy their merch, buy their CDs. I know CDs are old school. Some of the bands out here are doing cassettes again. Can you believe that? But yeah, put it in the grassroots. Don't put it in the fucking people that already have mansions, you know? Like Taylor Swift and shit, like, oh yeah, we haven't got money to go out, we haven't got money to go see local bands or, you know, support local artists or go to a you know, music festival that's got local artists, but we'll pay $3,000 for a box ticket for fucking Taylor Swift. Like, and then it's just, you're basically listening to a pre-recorded thing that she's just miming along to. I don't understand. People have got seriously ass backwards priorities. Joe B says, what kind of dumbass fuck would freehandle an inland Taipan? Well, Apparently that dumbass fuck. At least it's not the one we get here in Far North Queensland. The Eastern Taipan will leave you damaged for life after anti-venom. Really? Just don't be that guy trying to be Steve Irwin. Remember what happened to him? Yeah. That was such a weird thing. What happened to him? They probably gave him tiger snake anti-venom. Mark is famous already. He had a hard line against keeping anti-venom around. Why? Why would you... Yeah, anyway. Remember the fail vids bring in the likes too. Are you telling me to film my fails, Pete? Film myself getting electrocuted and stuff. Gast says, I know I had a bunch of those caps, could I have made a fortune? Are you talking about the tropical fish caps there? Because, yeah, people pay stupid money for them, and I don't know why. They're shit and stupid. Facebook Purity is a browser plugin. No, it doesn't collect data. It's basically uBlock Origin for Facebook. Oh, okay. I might give that a go, because it's getting worse and worse, but honestly, I don't use Facebook for browsing anymore anyway. I just use it for keeping in touch with people. Now that's the mashing esky. Still got the basic bucket fermenters. Mates have all the fancy setups. I like to keep it simple. Good man. So yeah, you'll be brewing after the event, the singularity, and your mates won't be able to get their fancy bits and pieces, so they won't be able to do it. But you'll be able to do it with you know, a dirty sock and some Vegemite. Good move, Pete. Do you design mod amps for Lamb Chopper? I don't know who Lamb Chopper is, so I guess not. My teenage boys are the ones clicking on all those crazy videos. I'm constantly doing damage control. Yeah, I don't know why people do that, Rob. I guess it was like back in the day when people would look at like rotten.com and stuff. It's like a shock factor thing, but TME is Transfer Multisort Electronic, a Polish company. Don't know their history. Mick Mars is on Tone Talk tonight. Should be interesting. Oh shit, when's that? Oh, they're later on, aren't they? They're heaps later. Hopefully we're not crossing over. Could you recommend a dual gain pot? I just made some stereo preamp pedals that fail on the pots. They were 0.49 each. I cannot find better here. So what? There's a lot of parameters when it comes to ordering a pot, Gast. You've got the physical constraints. You've got the taper. You've got the resistance. You know, the power rating. I'm assuming it's just signal. If it's just stereo preamps, it's very hard to find pots that have predictable and balanced tapers. And if you're paying for one that's like almost calibrated, you expect to pay $300 for one potentiometer. This is why a lot of hi-fis and mastering consoles will go for a stepped attenuator instead of a potentiometer. So that's another option, where you can use like 0.1% resistors instead of some undefined taper that's got a lot of tolerance. Probably Dad would be the one to ask about this, because he's just gone down that rabbit hole with his preamp and his active crossover circuits that is designed for his hi-fi. So Dad, if you want to chime in with your findings on pots, because we did discuss that when he was here. I can't remember what the outcome was, other than he was going to go for a pre-built stepped attenuator with 0.1% resistors, metal films. That also lowers the noise floor as well. 775 volts to the plates, half that to the screens. Yeah, they often have a voltage divider or another winding for the screens, don't they, Lucas? I'm psyched for Mick Mars. I don't know fuck all about him, to be honest. He's Motley Crue. I don't know. I don't listen to Motley Crue. All parts. Floyd Rose locking nut, top 3 plates and matching 3 bolts, $20 at Guitar Center. It seems expensive, only need the bolts. What do you recommend for the locking nut bolts? Well, you can just buy the locking nut bolts by themselves, or if you're really fucking smart and you got a local screw distributor, like we've got the Pan Bolt Master here. you can just figure out that it's an M4 screw, this long, and it's a cap head, and you can go there and pay like a cent for a screw. Paying a cent for a screw, man, those were the days, eh? Damn inflation. But otherwise, you can go to somewhere like, well, I don't know where you are, but I would go to Real Parts, Real Tone, sorry, Real Parts, yeah, Real Parts. What's Real Tone? Yeah, it is Real Tone. Okay, so the company's Real Tone, the website's Real Parts. Let's share the desk. Screws and springs. Float row screws. And there you go. That's it. Locking nut hex screw, $2 each. M4 8mm. That's all you need. M4 8mm. $2 is exorbitant, but if you're just after 3, $2 is perfect. But if you bought a box of 100, they'd be like 10 cents each, if that. So if you know your threads and you know your lengths, you can get real bargains. But are you going to go into the business of selling these screws and buy 5,000 of them, or do you just want 3? In that case, just buy them from here. But yeah, like StewMac and all of that, if you're in the States, they'll have the same stuff. Piece of pus. Oz Valve Amps is basically my wish list. Slowly making my way through it. Well, it sounds like you must have a bit of a museum happening over there, Lucas. Where are you, mate? Are you in New Zealand? All good, mate. I hope you're feeling better. I'm a patient man. Well, that's good, Scotty. Yeah, I'm feeling better. The voice is still slowly recovering. I don't know what the fuck it was, man. It was weird. GME. Ah, that was it. GME. And they're still going. GME Electrophone CB radios. Yes. That was the massive brick size CB I had. And it took like D cells. G'day, Terry. How you going, legend? I need to rebuild a few cassette desks here. Woman Flutter brings the nostalgia. Yeah. I fucking hated cassettes, man. I couldn't wait to see cassettes go away. I feel empowered after watching Mendit Mark. His videos do really well, and I'm surprised because he's just an ugly dickhead like me. But I think people really like his positivity, and I'm trying to be a bit more like that too. Less negative on the videos. Sometimes I film and I'm in a bad mood, so you can hear it come through the tone of voice. So I try to avoid that. Like if you get, a returned repair and then a difficult customer, and then you get 3 bills for fucking $2,000 within the same day. It's hard to be in a good mood sometimes. So yeah. If I'm like that now, I just don't film. I just leave it till tomorrow and go for a run or walk instead and feel better in the morning and do a video then. Tone Talk is in an hour and a half from now. Hour and 50 minutes, Brad, for Tone Talk. Okay, cool. That's it's about when we'll be cutting off here anyway, because that's when I open the shop. Do you have M sizes in Australia? Yeah. What's that for, Gast? It's quite amazing how distillers and blenders can maintain the identity of a whiskey. Yeah. It's quite an art to it. If you're in the States, McMaster Car, man, I wish we had McMaster Car over here. They're so cool. Has all manner of hardware, even FR4 and Garolite sheets for Isla boards. Yeah, their book is fucking awesome too. We can't order anything from them yet. I think there was rumours going around that they were going to expand over here. But yeah, we've got an Pan Bolt Master. At Mum and Dad's place, we've got an engineering place down the back, which I went to buy all screws for the bits and pieces that I was building there over Christmas. Good night, Daniel. I did not know your standard. I'm large, I think. I can fit into a medium if it's a bit, I'm probably, if I keep exercising, I'll get back down to a medium, but I used to be a medium. But, when you wear it, like, when I'm sort of fit and you wear a tighter shirt, you just got pussy flying at you all the time. So it's better to wear baggy stuff so you're just not getting, attacked by a clunge constantly. So McMaster is awesome, but super expensive. Oh, they're expensive, are they? Oh, no good. RS Components sometimes has some good engineering stuff like brackets, screws. Yeah, RS tends to be pretty good for that kind of stuff. Morning, Andy. How you going, legend? Well, I think we've caught up with the chat, so let's get to some work, eh? Oh, fucking running out of coffee. Michelle, bring me coffee. Don't make me walk up to the coffee shop. Alright, so we know this thing sounds alright, but he wants us to go over it. And the first thing I spotted when I plugged it in was we're going to have to address that. It's got primary insulation visible, and that's no good. I don't like these plugs. I think I mentioned in the Mark II C Plus video. And this one doesn't have the suspension mounts, which is interesting. They must have abandoned that for Mark III. G'day James, here again, legend. Still haven't got a coffee machine for the shop. No, well, I'd never leave if I didn't have a coffee, if I had a coffee shop here. So the reverb tank is flopping around quite a bit. It's missing 2 screws. And it looks like an aftermarket way too long hi-fi cable being used, which we could probably shorten up. That would probably improve the noise performance too, because it's right near the transformer. Bits of foam falling out of it. That's good. What have we got? 4 tongue soles. Stupid fan. No signs of hackage yet. Missing cable clamp on both ends. Class A, simul class. Class A my ass. Do you do metric or imperial in Australia? We do both. According to how we feel that day. I'm going to be able to get that out with all the shit attached to it. Let's unplug the fan. So we'll just give it an inspection, check the caps and stuff. See if there's any previous work been done to it. This is almost the case every time these days. Yeah, RS is stupid expensive, and they make it. Not only is RS expensive, but they also have minimum orders often of like 5,000, and it's still expensive. It's like, who the fuck is buying from RS components? I don't know. And they've got their own RS brand, so often you can't find a decent brand. Their RS stuff is cheap crap, except it's not cheap. It's like low spec caps and stuff. Don't know. RS used to be really good, and now they're kind of, I don't really have a use for them at all. They used to be great because they'd ship next day. So if there was something in the country, you could have it literally the next morning. Sometimes it would ship overnight. Just watch that reverb cable. Ret. I'll double check that. I don't trust the way that reverbs are plugged in at the best of times. Cabinet's mouldy. That's kind of gross. It's got spillage of something all through it. Just put that cab aside. Look at that later. Alright, look from the top, you got the world's shittiest valve retainers, which are doing fuck all, just like on the video I put up the other day. They're not even touching the valve base, so the valves are just rocking around. Now, someone commented that the WB, I thought I read. Did I read that wrong? On the Mark II-C, I said WB. Maybe I was reading it upside down, but it's MB, which is one of the builders. Someone said his name in the comments. 1088. So, yeah. 88 miles an hour. Here's the patented Messer jammer block in there with a bit of silicon. I don't know why they did that. So weird. Try and reverse engineer the thinking behind Messer and you just go crazy. Alright, so all the valves look okay visually. Look like some old school JJs there. The logo looks a bit different, although it says 22nd week of 2018. Just grab me blocks. There was a little bit of hum when I cranked it up, but that could be grounding on these things too. Ugh. It's like a grease on the transformer. That's weird. Feels like Vaseline or something. It wasn't that tight in the hole. Alrighty then. Oh, yeah, we got some hackage. A little bit, nothing too dramatic. Let me just clean this grease shit off my hands, whatever it is. It's freaking me out. A bit of shellite, that'll do it. Grab my meter. Alright, so we've got two resistors in series with the heater windings. I don't know if they were stock. 0.05 of an ohm. Really? Okay. Just dropping the voltage a bit there. Aftermarket, I guess. You've got some... It's a bit of a weird circuit with the simulclass bullshit, but you've got two resistors here in series replacing what over here is just one resistor. Let's center the view a bit. Let's just test this thing for stray voltages before I delve too deep into it. Nothing. 1 millivolt. 2.9 K, drifted a little high but not too dramatic. That 470 is at 1.2 K, so that's got to get out. That one's at about 1 K, so they've drifted massively high, and they'll keep going too. And a 2.7 K over there, which is what they're supposed to be, but you know, we could replace that with a single resistor instead of two in series. So I guess they probably had some issues with the high heater voltage, possibly because it's set for well, it says 240, so you'd imagine it would be 240, wouldn't you? Can't really test these droppers in circuit. We'll see if we can. It's not too bad. Should have 1K on this one. It's a little bit high, 1.1. Got the stupid braid that they use everywhere for all the grounding. No idea why they do that, but I guess it's easy to solder to, but it's just asking for short circuits to occur. Now starting to lose my voice again, that's great. A big ass honking 3.3k 5-watt resistor on the reverb. Don't know why they've gone for a 5-watt there. It's a bit of an overkill. It's just floating up in midair, so I'll probably replace that with a 3-watt or something. And you've got the ground switch. It's never had anything soldered to it in the factory, so that's good. That's what you want. You've got the safety earth on its own screw, which is good. You've got the center tap for the HT mounted to the transformer hardware, which isn't great, but we could mount that to the screw or to the hole right next to it without having to resolder anything, so that'll be good. You got the original caps. It's about time to call time on them. 88, almost as old as I am. And like I said, there was a little bit of residual hum at certain settings, but that could be the inductor EQ as well, compared to the Mark IIc I had the other day. So not the end of the world. It's looking pretty good. Just replace those screen grid resistors and neaten up their previous work, maybe some more appropriate form factors and components, and give them an option for a recap. If this is getting taken on the road, I'd advise them to recap it, but if not, you could probably just deal with it if something happens, if it's just a home playing amp, which is sort of my mantra, I guess, these days. If it's just a home amp, you probably don't need, unless they want to, you know, give them the option, but you can always deal with it when it occurs. But if you're on stage and the thing starts humming or starts failing, then you start to look like a dickhead. So you probably want to preemptively do it if it's your livelihood, but if it's just a hobby, you could probably live without it. So someone commented also on the Mark IIc, and this is interesting, I didn't realise this, but I did notice on the Mark IIc there was some damage to the chassis around the heatsink area that does nothing, you know. So you can see there's a dent, and there's some denting in this area. And apparently they used to bash them with a hammer to check if, you know, there's any intermittent connections. You know, like don't worry about good engineering or anything. Just bash it and deal with it if there's a problem. But yeah, they bash them with a hammer apparently, and now that I'm aware of it, I'm noticing every messer that comes in has a bunch of dents in this area where they've actually been hitting it with a steel, like a claw hammer or something, ball peen hammer. So yeah, that's an interesting bit of messer folklore. So okay, I think I know what we can do with that. We'll give them some options for, like I said, it's sounding good. I mean, you heard it at the start. But we can give them some options if they want to go the whole hog and do a electrolytic recap. But yeah, we'll have to replace those drifted parts and then not great previous installation. We can clean up a bit. Our standards are a bit higher than that. Are there any old or current Aussie bands you like? Yes, there's plenty. Well, King Parrot is one of them. Old one that doesn't exist that I wish did, and I wasn't as into them at the time as I should have been, was Blood Duster. They're awesome. Golden Age of Ballooning is another one. I don't know what they're doing at the moment, but they released some amazing shit and then they sort of died down a bit. Hiatus Coyote is amazing. Brad disappeared. I did? Have I disappeared? I don't know what's going on. I think you better refresh your browser because I'm showing 0 drop frames from this end. Let me just catch up on the chat, legends. How far back am I? We were talking about metric and imperial. Okay. Lucas, you're from Wellington, New Zealand. I have a small collection I'm working through to make them safer, quieter, and more reliable. Or if they're completely cooked, I'll repurpose the iron chassis for my own builds. Good move. Bar's old man was a fitter. I've got a shed load of Whitworth, Brit Fine, blah, blah, blah. Does my head in. That's great when you're working on old cars and bikes, though. If I had all that stuff, I'd probably get into working on old Triumphs and that. That'd be cool. I live 5 minutes from massive RS distro. They're not what they were, but the service is still good. Tone mold, yeah. I've had pet snakes, but never any venomous types. As a kid, I caught, handled, and sometimes kept every wild snake species found here, except copperheads and timber rattlers. Never seen them in the wild. I've got mates that keep reptiles. I think mostly lizards, though. They've all got licenses. What does your head in? I'm not sure what you meant. What does my head in? I forget. Ah, you're talking about blah, blah, blah. Gotcha. Does his head in trying to find the correct nut and bolt, yeah. When you got a big bucket of them and they're not sorted. What you need is the thread detective, which is basically a nut and bolt set stuck to a board, and it says all the threads, and you got to thread the nut on or screw the screw into the nut, and it, because the threads look the same almost, and then you thread them in and they seize up. Had a fender reissue come into my tech shop covered in vape residue. Nasty as shit. I've touched it on a while. The old douche fluters. .5 ohm. It's an 0.05 ohm, Ted. 0.05 ohm. Not 0.5. 0.5 would be like, oh yeah. 0.05. Brad, did you actually taste the greasy residue on the amp? It's been there a while, good, and I think any aromatics would have been gone by now. No load, 860 volts on the plates. Fucking hell. Sorry, I'll just blow my nose. Some mushrooms prefer sawdust. My browser became allergic to messes. Hey, that's weird. Anyone else have any issues, or is it just one? Is it just one issue? I remember photographing the vines in 2003 in Leeds. I think they were being touted as the Nirvana-esque thing. Not sure what happened to them. They've come back. So they sort of, yeah, I think they had problems with drugs, and the lead singer's mental health went a bit off the rails because, you know, you give a kid a fuckload of fame and everything that comes with it, and they're not mature enough to deal with it, so they can go off the rails a bit. But yeah, the Vines were cool. I've seen them live a few times, and they really put on a good show. I wanna get free, you know. But yeah, they're still around. But yeah, I think they're a little bit like the, yeah, they were touted as like the next big thing. But every time you say that shit, it sets up expectations. It was the same thing for Sunk Lotto as well. They were going to be the next fucking, you know, and then one of the members loses their mind and it all goes to shit. So before we get on to the next amp, book review time. Not really a review, but just me raving about it, to be honest. Am I in manual? Yes, I am. I better change my exposure. You can actually read it. So, Douglas Self, Small Signal Audio Design. This is a great book regardless of if you're into valve stuff or not, because it goes into filters and all sorts of stuff. But if you're working on the hi-fi gear, glass beams are great. Yeah, is glass beams Australian? I thought they were American. I have been listening to glass beams this last month or two when I discovered them about 3 months ago. So, small signal audio design. Learn how to make amplifiers with apparently impossibly low noise. Design discrete circuitry that can handle enormous signals and vanishingly low distortion. Use ordinary bipolar transistors to make amplifiers with an impedance of more than 50 megohms. Transform the performance of low-cost op amps and how to make filters with very low noise and distortion. Make incredibly accurate volume controls. There you go. Someone was asking about that one. Make a huge variety of audio equalizers. Make magnetic cartridge preamplifiers that have low noise. So low it's limited by basic physics. Sum, switch, clip, compress, and route audio signals effectively. Build reliable power supplies with many practical ways to keep both noise and cost down. This much enlarged second edition is packed with new information, including completely new chapters on op amps for low voltages down to 3.3 volts, moving magnet inputs, archival and non-standard equalization for 78s, etc. Moving magnet inputs, discrete transistor circuitry, moving magnet inputs, noise and distortion, balance and width controls, headphone amplifiers, including Class A designs, blah, blah, blah. So looking at the contents, because that's where the magic is. You see that one? Yeah, you can read that. Basics. So it runs you through all the different topologies, different sources of noise, which is good to know. Components, runs you through all the things to watch out for. Things like PCB considerations, which is fucking liquid gold. Well, it's just liquid gold. It's gold. That's what I'm telling you. I'm thinking about beer again. Different considerations of each type of resistor too, like literally goes into through-hole resistors, surface mount resistors, like different form factors and how they influence your design, and the factors to be aware of. Discrete transistor stuff, which scares a lot of people, and I think the main reason that transistors scare people a bit is because they're a 3-terminal device. Like op amps you can understand, you got your voltage supply plus minus, you got your inputs and your outputs. Even they get a bit sketchy when you ask people like, what's the difference between the two inputs? You know, what are the golden rules? But with transistors, it's good to know when you look at a circuit, oh, that's a one transistor shunt feedback gain stage, right? And you can just say, okay, that's what it is. So this is what I should be seeing here. This is the voltages I should expect. Why am I not getting that? Okay, well, the transistor's fucked. 90% of the time, that's what it is. But it's good to know at a glance what each little building block that makes up the whole circuit is and what it's supposed to be doing. And then it's like learning a language, right? Eventually, you can read the whole sentence, which is the circuit, or that segment of the circuit, instead of looking at a bunch of individual letters and getting confused. So just on the name again, Small Signal Audio Design, second edition from Douglas Self. He's got a fucking ton of books. This is like the master. He's got, I think you can get individual or more specialized where he digs down into each chapter. You can get books just on filters that he does. He's got lots of white papers and stuff too. I think some of it publicly available. A very smart man, and he's got a good sense of humor. You read this and it's like talking to a person. It's not like some abstract fucking lab coat nerd. He's a funny bloke. He jokes around in the text. It's like Art of Electronics, you know. They joke around. They're personable people, and they've got a sense of humor. So yeah, what I was looking at today, one thing which is often a little bit confusing, like what op amp do I choose? Like there's so many, and like what are the differences? What's the pros and cons? Why would I choose a TL072 over a OPA27? Well, he actually digs into that and makes it pretty easy and efficient. There's a lot of there's a little bit of history there, but there's another article which I think I offered a while back from our man Rod Elliott, who digs into the history of op amps and why they came out with the next version, essentially, because the previous one had this shortcoming, or this was a problem, so the next one addressed that, and then the one after that addressed the other shortcoming that they couldn't figure out at the time, blah blah blah. But yeah, just knowing, why choose a NE5532, why, when I could use a LM4562. Well, for starters, LM4562 is 10 times the cost, but is it worth it? And is my application, is it going to show an improvement using the more expensive one, or do I just use an NE5532? Because they're everywhere. Goes into filters, all the different forms of filters, which is great. Filters, people think of just high and low pass, but it's got notch, band pass. Goes into the different, so that's just your basic filters, but then later on it goes into tone controls and equalizers. So yeah, you've learned about the filters earlier on, but later on it goes into, this is how they're actually implemented: the back sandal, tone stack, etc, etc. 3-band EQs. A lot of this tends to be a bit more aimed towards like professional audio gear, or like mastering equipment and high-end hi-fi, rather than like guitar amps. But you recognize, because a lot of the guitar amp stuff just came from early hi-fi designs basically, and then just stayed there, whereas the hi-fi stuff advanced over the years. So volume controls, look, there's a whole chapter on just volume controls. It's not just a fucking potentiometer. Step volume attenuators, relay switch volume controls, which I've seen in NAD, had a big bank of relays, and that's how it's, as you turn the volume control, you can hear the relays clicking, and they're all mercury wetted contacts and stuff. Balance controls, there's a whole chapter on that. Great if you're getting into the hi-fi repair game. Is it a game? I don't know. Hobby, I should say. Preamplifier architectures, passive preamplifiers, which is a bit of a contradiction. A lot of stuff involving vinyl, so RIAA equalization, the different preamps, the different EQ curves. So he digs right down into the vinyl stuff. But then later on, mixer architectures, microphone preamplifiers, so that's more into the pro audio stuff. Line inputs, look at the chapter on line inputs. Look at it. And line outputs. Headphone amps, signal switching, just basics like that, which comes into play with channel switching amps and stuff. Mixer subsystems, how like PFL buttons and how they work, and yeah, amazing book. Level indication metering, there's a whole chapter on, vacuum fluorescent displays, plasma displays, the different technologies used to show the levels. And then it gets into like power, level control, so compressors and limiters, clipping, reasons that you would implement clipping, not so much tone thing, but like level limiting, power supplies, and interfacing with. It starts to touch on the digital stuff here, but yeah, that's I think for another book, but they use the audio precision system for all their measurements, which would be a lovely thing to have. Yeah, fantastic book. It's not super cheap, but it wasn't stupid expensive either. I think this was one of the ones where you order it and they literally print your single copy and then ship it out to you. Sort of like, I forget the name for it, on demand, whatever. Yeah, get yourself a copy of that if you can. What are we looking at, champions? We've got an Avalon dual preamp. Ugh. So this one's dead, no signal. It's 2 units joined together by a like a joining plate. Let me bring the exposure back up a touch. Come on, camera, you can do it. Looks really dark there. Let me get some more light happening. There we go. We've got schematics for this thing. Are we going to dig in, champions? Are we going to dig in? Why not? Focus, you fuck. There we go. So it goes out of focus when I zoom out. It was playing nice. It was playing nice this morning, and now it's starting to play up. Victor's in the house. There you go, legend. MOSFET Xenotrick is handy to decrease voltages. Yeah, but the MOSFETs tend to fail for no good reason. I prefer analog books. So do I. There's too many distractions with any digital device. I prefer to sit there and read a book and put my phone in the next room or turn it off. Turn the bastard off completely. Need googly eyes for a focus target. I think the world just needs more googly eyes in general, Lou. How can you be mad when you got googly eyes to stick to random things in public, you know? Some would say that is madness. So the beauty of having two units is we've got two to compare. So even if we don't have a schematic, we've got one that we know is working. Just picking a bit of crap out of that screw hole. You don't want crap in your screw hole. I'll take the plate off completely, actually, because I want to remove the covers off these to take measurements and compare the two units. Roxy Music. That was the one with Brian Ferry in it, wasn't it? Oh, it's the T section. Nice aluminium profile. It's a bit fancy. Alright, we'll just put that one there. I'll take the T section off this one too. That's what she said. Yes, she did. Just looking through the grill, I can see the circuit board, and it looks well built, well engineered. I'm engineering. Ah, Brian Ferry had an album, Avalon. I like Brian Ferry. What's that big song he had? Sorrow. Sorrow. Had a funny voice. With your long blonde hair. Ah, so many screws for a Saturday morning. $4,000 for an Avalon? For Avalon? For Avalon or for an Avalon? I don't know. I don't care what stuff costs. Just need to fix it, bro. I kind of want to go home and work on stuff at home today. Don't even want to really deal with the public today. You just get days where I want to wrap myself in a tech cocoon and just tinker. But then I've got to deal with customers. But that's okay. I love customers. And the whole reason I can pay rent. We all know how fun that is, paying rent. You're thinking Bowie, mate. Let's stick together. Oh, let's stick together. Let's stick together. Come on, let's stick together. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry. Was that Bowie? Sorrow. That wasn't Bowie, was it? Fucking sound like a dumbass now. Song. Sorrow. Oh, it was David Bowie. Shit. Sorry. Recorded by the McCoys? Shit, I really thought that was Brian Ferry. Okay, never mind, carry on. Nick Cave has a great story talking to Brian Ferry about the nature of dwindling inspiration. I'll have to find that again. It was quite insightful. I don't think Nick Cave's got any problem with inspiration. His new album's been on this week, and it's fucking sounds pretty good, eh? Doesn't sound like he's struggling for inspiration. But, you know, that's what they say. He's been through a lot of painful shit, and that actually makes good music. Tortures the shit out of the artist, but it makes good music. Let's stick together. Come on. That's it. Ooh, a little bit dirty. The visual examination. Doesn't look like anyone's been in here before. No one's played Knifey Spoony. This one looks dirtier than that one though, like significantly, but they're the same unit, so I don't know if you had just something sitting on top of that one, or if that was a later edition. Maybe you started with one and then got the adaptation kit and joined two together. But this one's got quite a bit more shmoo in it. So essentially these things are a fucking $1 million DI box, basically. DI. You know what? Maybe I should actually do some research on this thing to figure out what they even fucking are first. How about that, eh? You need a Makita 12 volt max. No, I don't like using drills on expensive stuff. I didn't realise until recently that I was a month older than you, Brad. Oh yeah. I think, didn't we establish that when we were there? When I was there, when we were drinking beer? Do you like Leon Todd of Ragdoll? Very good. Yeah, Leon Todd's cool. We've got mutual friends. He's played an amp that I serviced not too long ago. Let me just find you a link. Didn't service, I did a full fucking rebuild. Studio. You know what I think it's time for, champions? More gifted memberships. Another 5. Poor little computer struggling while it streams. Ah, shut up. Membership gifting. Gift 5 now. Who's got one? Come on, Lou. Come on, Pete. Are you going to get one? Who got one? OH, Thomas Nicholson, Glenn Beeler, Rock and Roll Music Man, Jason Vieta. Congratulations, legend. Sorry, Lou, you missed out. Pete. That's alright. Maybe next time. So what was I doing? Ah, yes, link. Comments, mentions. Can I click it? No? View video. Here we go. Oh, let's just watch it, eh? No, because then I'll steal content and it'll give me a copyright strike. Here, if you want to go watch that. here's a link to that AC30 that I rebuilt, 65. So check that out. Oh, actually, Leon didn't play on that one, I don't think. No. So add another bloke in. That's right. Ah, it sounds pretty good. He plays fantastically. He's 33 years older than us, Kimball. It's funny, you read a name and you just create a picture in your head of what that person is. You got no reason for it. It's just it's just one of those things. What am I doing? Avalon. Ultra 5 Direct. DI preamp, unique passive tone, selective variable gain, $1,600, going for about $1,000 used. High voltage DI preamp. DI preamp, but it's not transformer coupled. High impedance input accepts a wide variety of signal levels and instruments from acoustic guitars to high output active bass guitars and keyboards. U5 direct boxes loaded with sonic character and user features professionals demand. So you can plug a fucking speaker input into it. You can plug a speaker input into it, but it's not transformer coupled? It's weird. Alright, so basically it's a active preamp, I guess. I can't count past 40 right now, Kimball. Still trying to wake up. Got 12 years on me. Born 53. Okay, boomer. Ted, put your head in. Am I making you feel young again? Oh, you're a boomer as well. It's alright. I'll just put the tape on this one to remind me that it's buggered one. It's the left-hand one that's buggered. I'll remember that. So let's see if we can get any signal out of them. We've got two to compare. This one, I'll just check the fuse. Well, I guess Michelle missed my memo about the coffee. And it won't be the fuse, because that would be too easy. That would mean we've got a definitive fault. Of course it's not the fuse. Alright, so let's get some signal out of the good one. And just familiarise ourselves with the controls and what they do. Yes, all of us, Brad, are a bit wet behind the ears. You are. I just turned 40, so... Is that someone here? Nah, it's just next door. What are they doing here? I know. Bloody air conditioning people don't work on weekends. They earn too much money to work on weekends. That's when they're out in their jet skis and shit. I call my dad a boomer all the time. Okay, so I'll just go power lead. 1 second, champions. I think it might be time for a cup of tea or something to fill the hole. I want another coffee, but I have to walk up to the shop. We have power, so this is like always on. There's a lot of studio gears because they assume that you're going to have like a master switch on the wall or something. So it's got tone control input. We'll get the signal Jenny out. I'll give it a pretty low level signal to start with, since it is a DI. It should be able to take some pretty low level stuff. Alright, the signal present LED is lighting up. Let's see what we've got on the output. So the through is just a through. Got a headphone output. Balanced output. Let's just scope it. Actually, we could just feed you the signal. I can deafen you with some sine waves, eh? What do you want to do? You want to be deafened by sine waves? I suppose we can see what it sounds like. I'll just get my headphones, hang on. Just grab a mic lead. Thought I had a little short mic lead for testing, but I can't find it. I think it's probably packed it away. Let's now put mic level, line level, go line level. Let's go mic level. Give you a lower frequency, it's a bit less ear piercing. Very dirty switches. So they're stepped attenuators like we're talking about. You can see at the front there, there's a board with a rotary switch. It's got a series of resistors there. They look like 1% metal films. I'll give it a square wave. Switch is loose. It's interesting, the tones, they're different EQ curves. They're not just like number 2 is really scooped. Number 1, 2 seems to be the odd one out. They're all different voicings. Alright, well that one seems to be working. Now your ears will feel funny because it's used to listening to that. Let's see what the other one does. The dogs will run with that one. We've got a power light. Isn't it cool that I can plug in and show you like how stuff responds and shit though? Like, alright, this one is absolutely dead. Let's see if it's getting input to the indicator. No, it's not even... Whoa! Right, so if I punch it with just really high signal, it's breaking through something, but it's not showing any signal on the indicator, so it's not making it up to there. So something is funky at the front end. So we'll get the scope out. I'll see if I can find a circuit in the meantime. I'll just feel if anything's getting hot. Sometimes the transistor or an op amp, you can just feel that it's fucked because it starts to get real hot. The only things warm are the things with heat sinks, so that's what you expect. Not smelling anything hot. All the control LEDs are working. Just try plugging into the speaker input. Nothing. Nothing. All right. That made my galah wake up. Lazy bastard. You got a pet galah. This is still the best internet content, even if it is Hertz. I need to listen to more Steve Albini's band. 1000 Hertz is the best album title. Yeah, I need to listen to some of that too. Use thermal camera. I'll just use my finger, mate. It's alright. Or alcohol. Oh, voting. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's the local council election, isn't it? That's alright. Take part in the democratic process and eat a sausage. Shit. I'm going to have to do that. Forgot all about that. Thanks for reminding me, Pete. Save me from getting a fine. See if I can find some schematics. The scope's doing the ringy thing. I don't know why it rings like that. Waiting for the evacuation message to come on. $30-something. Your galah is 30-something. Brad, my daughter's vacation has been held up again. Looks like my trip to your neck of the woods is on hold until she finally gets approval. It's alright, mate. You know where to find me. Thing is, if you come here during the week, I probably won't have much time to talk anyway, because I'm always fucking slammed by repairs and people ringing and wanting status updates. Champion! Alright. Schematic. Ooh. Is this one of those companies that has actually released schematics? Whether they meant to or not. Hello? All apps? I'm still setting up laptop a bit, champs, so it's ongoing ongoing battle. Might not have much luck with the schematic, but like I said, we've got 2 units to compare, so I might plug them both in. And what? Someone's got a PCB layout. I wonder if that's a designer. Someone's reverse engineered one, I think. If I actually read the text, I might find out, but that's too hard. No schematic. Damn it. Make me think. Fucking. Alright, I'll think. Fucking life. Alright, input. Double-sided board. However, the bottom is removable because these guys like service people. Oh shit, I've only got 35 minutes and then I've got to open the shop. I missed the red beard, mine is white now. You had a red beard too, did you? Brad's going ZZ top. I was going to get my beard trimmed right down literally as I leave here today on the way home. I was going to get it cut down to about half the size because it's starting to get a bit out of control, a bit annoying. No, this is great service, Ted. Being able to remove the top and bottom panel. Oh, 2 little capsies. Strange looking caps. They look like surface mounts but with leads. Anyway, now we can follow the traces. So, you know, as always, first thing checks voltages. Anytime we forget that shit, it bites us in the arsehole, doesn't it? Bites us in the donut. I'll plug that in. We've got 2 regs, so we know we're going to have plus minus probably 15 volt rails. What are they? Can't read it. That wasn't smart. It's very dusty, champions. Find a ground. One right near the mains, but that's with the ground switch. Should be just chassis anywhere for the audio ground if the ground switch is on. And it's on. Ground switch doesn't lift the ground pin unless you mess a boogie and break the law. The ground switch removes the audio circuit from the electrical ground. Sorry, that dust has got up in my nose, up in my junk. Alright, we've got no positive rail. That's going to do it. It's at minus 7.19 volt. So I think we've got a bad egg. A bad egg. I'm getting shaky, champions. It's not good. I'm trying to take measurements. I'm going to blow shit up. 53 volts. Nothing on the output. $51 volts. That's 50. Minus 50.5. Minus 51. Minus 51. Where's the 15 volt reg? Unless they're not linear. 0.3. 0. 53. Okay, let's see what the other one does. See you, Pete. Have a good one, mate. Have a good homebrew sesh if you dig out your gear. $33. 50. 33. Alright, so that's a TIP 31C. TIP 31C. Let's check the other one actually while we're here. And check that same pin on that same. So that's 14.5. We had minus 0.7 on the other one. And we got minus 14. So that one's got the negative rail but no positive rail. So we've got a bad regulator. And it's not a linear regulator. They've got two transistors. So they're doing it discreetly. And the other rail's way off on that one too. It was like 50 something. So let's check. That's minus 50, which is about what it was on the other. They might have rail tracking where the rails look at each other and that's throwing it off. So I was suspect on that transistor. Now I know I've got them in stock, so happy days. Okay, is that showing residual voltage? Is it confusing my meter? Yeah, it's still got voltage on that rail. Let's discharge it for starters. Minus 6 volts. It's dropping. Yeah, can be a bit annoying trying to figure this stuff out without schematics. That's why I'm glad we've got 2 units. Tip looks a bit shitty. I must have left that on the other day without realising. I think I'll use my smaller tip. Ah, it's got a solder blob on the end and it's still stuck in there. Lead-free solder. Oh, shit. That's fucking the second time I almost knocked over the soldering station. Brad, do you wear a gel wedding ring? Or wood maybe? No, it's tungsten. Tungsten? Zirconium. Yeah, zirconium. Probably shouldn't touch it, but I don't know. If your finger's there anyway, you're gonna... I mean, I get sheet metal workers and shit because it can deglove your finger, but if you're gonna get electrocuted, what's a ring gonna make a difference? It's... yeah, I don't know. What am I doing? Flipping it over. I never smoked. I've never understood the appeal. Yeah, I've had, you know, back in the day, the occasional cigarette, but I never got addicted. Now I just have the occasional cigar. I'm happy with that. One thing cigar smoking does to you is because the tobaccos of a much higher quality, it makes you realise how fucking shit cigarettes are, and they smell fucking gross. Because when you smell that really nice tobacco, it makes cigarettes smell really disgusting. Because they use the bottom of the barrel shit, leftover crap. Alright, tip 31C. Just the tip. Measuring okay. Damn it. You're going to have to make me think more, aren't you? Alright. It makes you think it's a short, but it's just the cap charging. Hold it there for a bit longer and the beep goes away. It's a trap for the young'uns. I'm just visually tracing out the circuit as best I can in the next 20 minutes. Are you shorted? Probably put that transistor back in. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Oh shit. Green smoking is easy. I've done it many times. Alright, he's Q2 short. Compare on this one. I think we've got a shorted Q2. That is right there. Might need a new filter. Just a bit blocked up. I know people are always like, why do you have that gun when it blocks up all the time? But the problem is operating it vertically. All the solder sort of wants to go back down into the tip. So sometimes I try to stand stuff up and work sideways. Sort of no getting around that. That's sort of where the Hakko one sort of works okay because it's off at an angle. For 4K units, they just have you send them off to authorized service since dollar is no object. Well, do I look authorized to you? What are you? BC546. Fuck, old school. I haven't got any of them, surely. BC546 sure do. 40B. Draw 40B. 40B. Let's check that out of circuit, sorry. Just to make sure it's not something else in the circuit. Give me a bum steer. Oh, she's certainly hard short. Just a bit of lead manipulation. Bing, bing, bing. In she goes. Put the tip 31C back in. No one's the wiser. Nice quality boards. Nice thick, looks like 2-ounce copper. And through-hole plated, nice fat traces. Good to see someone's doing their job right. See, I'm not always negative, legends. Actually quite positive most of the time, believe it or not. But people find my negativity entertaining, so sometimes I play it up a little bit, let's be honest. Cotton bud, cotton bud. Let's clean up our flux. Get rid of any evidence that we were here. Have no one to blame, and it happens next time. We'll fire this up. It's hard to establish. I don't think that would have actually caused the problem. It's like a spontaneous, just shorted semiconductor. I'll put some more heatsink compound on that because there's not a lot on there. You got to take care of yourselves, legends. It's often technical people. The one thing they can't figure out is how to maintain their health. So yeah, make sure you get out there, get some exercise. I was thinking about starting to do like exercise videos of me just out there walking, like not gym bullshit. Like here, work your fucking quads and abadabbas and shit, but just go for a walk, you know. Have a chat, do a Q&A while I'm out there walking. So then it's also a double-edged sword that I can't research stuff while you're asking me questions. So I'll be raw dogging it. So I'll be put on the spot and you guys would find that funny. We'll do a Q&A while I'm walking around the river or something. I've been going for river walks recently. I used to walk just up and down the main road near where I live, but it got a bit boring, so I started going down to the river. I heard the eastern coal, the Asian coal, for the first time this year, which is always a sign that summer's on the way. It goes. And it gets faster and higher pitch until it sounds like he falls off his perch. Alright. Solder that one, then we'll fire it up and see if we fixed it, and that'll be the last repair of the day. Well, the only repair of the day so far. First repair of the day, last repair of the video. You know what I mean. I'm finding myself actually preferring working on solid state gear, because all the valve gear that comes in here is so fucking munted up by the previous dickheads that touched it. It's really frustrating, whereas a lot of the solid state gear, no one's touched it by the time it gets here. It actually can be a little bit more predictive, a little bit less frustrating. The biggest drag about this job is seeing the shit people charge money for, like the other techs. It's really disheartening, man. I wish it wasn't a problem. Alright, let's give this a go. Moment of truth. Bang! Alright, I'll check the voltages on those op amps again. See if we've got our positive rail now. And we do! Sweet as, bro! Alright, I'll just give you some signal to prove it. There you go. Bit of triangle wave. Sweet as. I'll give that one a clean and stuff though, before boxing it back up. Just check the voltages throughout, compare with the other one, maybe take a few notes since I haven't seen one before. Take a few photos, photos of the overall layout just for my own files. You know, repairing without a schematic, not the end of the world, eh? Particularly if you've got another to compare it with. That's where mixers are good, mixing consoles. Because you've got like 15 other channels to compare the failed one with, and if only one channel's dropped, I mean, so like you can find like blown op amps and stuff in mixers in a matter of seconds in a huge console, and people are like, "Holy fuck, how'd you find that? Look at the board, it's massive." It's like, yeah, well, just the multimeter and a bit of common sense, eh? Just unplug that bad boy. Yeah, seeing some people that are trying to fix an amp, they don't even have a fucking multimeter, man. It's like, come on. You can get one for 20 bucks. It's still too expensive for them. Just tell me what to replace. No, get fucked. Figure it out yourself. I'm a member of a lot of groups online. Actually, I probably haven't shared them with you guys. Let me, if you're unfortunate enough to be on Facebook. Oh, hello, camera. I'm a little bit of a, what do you call them? Hobbit height. I actually want to learn about amps. I thought you already knew about amps. Let's see if I can share this without like doxing myself. Hang on. Where are we? Alright, so a few groups to join up with. I'll see if I can share them as just a link. Oh, getting hiccups. Well, for starters, there's my Facebook page, right? So you should be following that already. I've got my Instagram as well, so follow me on that. Here's my bloody Facebook page. Go on, computer. I'll turn off the scope, although it's stopped whistling now. Profile. Here's my Insta. I've got to update the Insta a bit more. So go and follow us on Insta, because no one does. I've got like 300 followers or something stupid. And then seeing Frankie, you guys like millions of them. So then there's Solid State of Mind, which Six and I started. It's solid state diagnosis, repair, design. So that's actually run by us. And you've got the other groups that I'm a member of. I try to help out when I can, but I'm pretty busy. So here's another half decent one. Any of the groups that are modded by Robert Hull are good Facebook groups, and any of the ones that aren't, probably not worth joining because they're just full of fucking bullshit. There's also this one, which is Alex and Jace's one. So this is great for if you're getting into building with the bits and pieces they sell. So that's Evolve DIY and Serious Amplification. Very serious. It's serious like the star system. So if you buy their kits, PCBs, and you're having trouble, or you need some more guidance, or you just want to show off what you've done, join that one. They've got some really good stuff on there. What else? Thanks. Follow it on Insta. Bloody legend. Insta I basically use as eye candy. Just put up pretty shit. I don't really do the shorts or reels or whatever the fuck they call it. I probably should, but there's so much to do, champions. And then you got to run a shop and run an online store. Oh, and if you haven't looked at the online store, I'll just show you that now. Actually, I probably shouldn't because I've got to update it. Never mind. That's about it. Another great site. Since we're just sharing shit. The great Rod Elliott. Check out his page. It's a fucking absolute treasure trove of accurate and awesome information. Amazing website. Used to hang at AX87. Yeah, that was a good one back in the day. I remember hanging out at that back when I lived with my parents, like 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. So I think a lot of those guys sort of came from the AX84 too. AX84 forums, I mean. Rod is a legend. It's bloody great meeting him, eh? He's such a cool guy. Friendly bloke too, and you could just shoot the shit, you know. It wasn't all about electronics. We were just chatting about general stuff as well. Yeah, Rod Elliott's page is one of the best pages on the fucking internet, man, and it's still ad free. Donate some money to him too, actually. If you're going to use his page, make a donation to him, and then he doesn't need to put ads on it like fucking Rob Robinette's page. I love Rob, but fuck, the ads are so annoying on his page, man. So these guys need to cover the hosting of their webpage, and I've got a webpage. I know it costs money. So go to that one. If you like Rod's page, go to that one and chuck him $20. You know, he runs his own server. He pays for the hosting, and he's got no ads at all on his whole page, and it's fantastic. No distractions. And Rob Robinette's page is great, specifically valve amps, whereas Rod with a D, his page is more general electronics. But just watch this, for example, when you go over to Rob's page, desk share, and you click it. Yep, that's cool. Ads, TMU. And then, download manuals. Pretends like it's manuals, but you click that, it takes you to some other dodgy shit. He's got stuff popping up here. TMU. It shows big tits just to get you in. TMU. So, he's got to do that to pay for his site, but if he had a donation page, he wouldn't have to do that. And I think that, maybe he just doesn't have faith that people will actually donate, or I don't know, maybe he just likes taking money off Google instead. But yeah, this is actually a good experience. Sometimes these things pop up in the middle and they're a bit annoying, but yeah, his page is a treasure trove of primarily valve amp, guitar amp stuff, and it's a great page. Just use an ad blocker or something. So there you have it, legends. Another episode done. I think I'm going to go up the road. Oh, it's supposed to open right now, but I want to go up the road, get another coffee and something to eat. So I might, as soon as I open, I might just put up the back in 15 minutes sign. Which is a bit rude, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. So take it easy, legends. I'm going to catch ya in a couple of edited videos, some shorter ones as well. If you've watched the full videos, what I'm going to do is also go into, I want to start doing like almost like little segments in the live streams, and then be able to download the live stream later and then chop up that into little segments. So there's your full live stream for 3 hours, and then chop out little bite-sized segments of like 5-minute videos. Like, for example, that book review, like, buy that book, here's what's in there, tuck a bit of background music in the background, little 3 or 4 minute video, 2 or 3 minute video, maybe even shorts, pull them out of the live stream. So I can do this once a week and then have some content to pull out of it for the people that aren't long enough attention span. But if you see those pop up and you're a member or you watch the live stream, just ignore them. It's fine. They're mainly to get new people in, you know. The live streams are for the diehards, and then the little bits and pieces are for the little chicken nuggets for the pull people in, you know. So feel free to ignore them. There's no need to thumbs down them because you like the longer content. Just ignore it. You're going to keep getting your longer content. It's all right. I don't need your feedback. It's going to keep happening no matter what. So same old thing. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumb right up there, and feel around. See if I can avoid a doctor visit while we're there. And I'll catch you on the next one, legends. Have a good weekend. Drink lots of water. Get some exercise. Get some sunshine. Not too much. Wear some sunscreen. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye-bye.